A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This is a common saying that originated from a Chinese proverb. This saying teaches us that even the longest and most difficult ventures have a starting point, something which begins with the first step. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to our webinar, Navigating Internships and Career Growth. My name is Shelly-Ann Althea Whiteley-Clark, and I will be hosting your webinar this morning. In other words, welcome to your venture, which is the beginning of the Tourism Enhancement Fund's Summer Internship Program, and your starting point begins right now. I'm going to invite Ms. Chevanique Patrick, our Program Officer with the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, to open in prayer for us.
Good morning. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day, the opportunity to gather for this year's Summer Internship Programs webinar. We are grateful for every speaker, participant, and organizer, and for the vision behind this initiative. Lord, we invite your Holy Spirit to be among us today, guiding our thoughts, words, interactions. May this period be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and clarity. Bless our speakers as they share their knowledge and open the hearts and minds of every participant online to receive and learn. May all that we do today bring glory to your name and leave a lasting impact. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen and amen. So, ladies, gentlemen, I'm going to invite from our world-class Tourism Enhancement Fund, our Executive Director, the one and only, Dr. Carey Wallace, to officially welcome you to our webinar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley. One can always do that nice ego boost, can't we? So thanks for that. And I just wanted to welcome every single one of you here today for this Navigating Internships and Career Growth webinar. Congratulations on having the initiative to go after summer internships and apply for the TEF Summer Internship Program. I think it's a good start. It shows good initiative. And I know whereas it is a huge benefit to having some extra dollars made over the summer, here at the TEF we see the bigger picture of creating future leaders, starting with the internship, giving you the type of exposure, the type of experience, the type of knowledge, the type of wisdom, the type of understanding of the variety of work-life requirements that you may not have been exposed to going through your years of schooling. Today's program will take you through a few of those because we have amalgamated a set of experts in the area of personal branding. For instance, you'll have one of our top experts, Naomi Garrick, speaking to you on that. On resume and interview readiness, Tobia James, a career development officer, will also be presenting to you. And here's a big one, financial literacy. And I think you would agree with me if you were going to get the best Jamaican to speak to you on that, it would be no other than Kalila Reynolds. What's her slogan about the chiching, make the money? I'm sure she'll give it when she gets on. But the point is we're bringing out all the resources, the best resources that we could amass to speak to you and address you today, so that as one of the greatest resources of this country. You, our young human resource, you are outfitted with the tools required to thrive and be an amazing Jamaican career employee. We are hoping that a lot of you will choose tourism, as it is Jamaica's #1 industry and has the greatest propensity for growth and expansion and wealth creation. And whereas some of you may automatically think once we say tourism, you start thinking housekeepers and bartenders, I would want to quickly let you see the expanded level of careers in the tourism space, requiring doctors, yes, medical doctors, of course, to treat visitors and any kind of trauma situations in the tourism spaces. We need veterinarians to look after the dolphins and animals that we use in the tourism spaces. We need civil engineers to build the 1,000-room hotels, to fix the roads towards the attractions. I could keep going and going, but I want you to recognize that tourism's growth in an island like Jamaica translates into career opportunities for you. And of course, it's a nice balance that we need, where you not only get the jobs as if it's a gift, but it's your expertise, your work ethic, your value contributes in the growth of the industry as well, contributes in the innovation of the industry, contributes towards making Jamaica the #1 destination on planet Earth. And so you have a responsibility as young, educated, resourced Jamaicans who are now embarking on an internship program this summer to not come in and be ordinary, but know that the country is depending on you to come in and be extraordinary. We want you to be like Usain Bolt when he's on the track. We want you to be like Bob Marley when he's on the stage. We want you to be that kind of Jamaican dynamo, that superstar that you are. We want it to be unleashed in your various areas that you are being placed in your internship. So this, again, is not just for the summer period that you're here. We're here hoping that the lessons, the inspiration, the motivation will guide you through for the rest of your lives and your careers. With that, I would just like to say a warm welcome, and I look forward to, especially the keynote from our Minister of Tourism, global tourism minister. He's respected all over the world as the #1 tourism minister on the planet. And so we can look forward to his guidance and his leadership, ensuring that as a country, Jamaica continues to rise, not only in the tourism space, but as a country. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wallace. And indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that you're on the webinar means that more than likely you will be starting your internship through the Tourism Enhancement Fund, whether it's going to be later on this month in June, or whether you're going to be on the second tranche of our program. And I also appreciate the fact that Dr. Wallace mentioned that all of our speakers today, the idea is not only preparing you for the first step, but is also preparing you for life. It is all about lifelong learning. And who better to tell us about lifelong learning than our Honorable Minister? The Honorable Edmund Bartlett is an innovator and a visionary. These attributes have underscored his many years of excellent, successful service to the tourism industry. Under his leadership, tourism has been positioned as a catalyst for sustainable and inclusive growth through job and wealth creation, public-private partnerships, and community transformation. He is a tireless advocate for global tourism resilience and is the founder and co-chair of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center at the University of the West Indies, Mona Campus, Jamaica. Minister Bartlett's influence on the international stage was evident when the United Nations ratified Jamaica's efforts to bolster resilience in world tourism by officially designating February 17th as Global Tourism Resilience Day annually. The day emphasizes the importance of building tourism resilience across the world to fuel sustainable growth and development. He has cemented his status as one of the best minds on tourism resilience and sustainability with the books Tourism Resilience and Recovery for Global Sustainability and Development, Navigating COVID-19 and the Future, which he co-edited with GTR CMC Executive Director, Professor Lloyd Waller, and Thought Leadership on Tourism Resilience and Sustainability in the 21st Century. As one of the world's leading tourism ministers, Mr. Bartlett has represented Jamaica regionally and internationally and has copped numerous awards for his outstanding contribution to this, our tourism industry. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our Honorable Minister, Edmund Bartlett.
Thank you so much, and a pleasant good morning from New York City, where we are making a big pitch to promote the Jamaica Post Level 2. And we're excited about the response that we're getting and the prospects, of course, of growing the industry even greater than we've done in the past. So good morning, future leaders of Jamaica's tourism industry and beyond. Today marks a historic moment, the very first webinar in the 18-year journey of our Tourism Enhancement Fund's Summer Internship Program. For nearly 2 decades, we have been quietly but powerfully transforming lives, one internship at a time. Today, we step boldly into a new chapter, amplifying our reach and impact like never before. When I look at the number 12,000, the young Jamaicans who applied to this program this year, I don't see just statistics. I see 12,000 dreams. I see 12,000 young people who refuse to wait for the opportunity to find them, but instead went searching for it. You represent the very best of Jamaica, ambitious, determined, and ready to write your own success stories. This overwhelming response tells us something profound about our nation's youth. You are not content to be passive observers of your future. You are active architects of your destiny. When we launched this program in April 2007, we planted a seed. We believed that by giving young people meaningful work experience, we could bridge the gap between education and employment, between potential and achievement. Today, that seed has grown into a mighty tree, its branches reaching across all 14 parishes of our beautiful island. With 112 employers already on board and over 1,000 anticipated placements this year, we are not just running an internship program, we are orchestrating a movement. While we know that not everyone who applied will be selected for a placement this year, This webinar itself represents our commitment to every young Jamaican who seeks to discover their potential, contribute meaningfully to our economy, and build a foundation for lifelong success. Under the guidance of the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, a division of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, this program has evolved beyond simple job placement. We provide you with more than work experience. We provide you with certified credentials through the American Hotel and Lodging Education Institute, the AHLEI. We don't just give you a summer job. We give you professional qualification that will open doors throughout your career. Every intern who completes our program doesn't just leave with experience. They leave with the AHLEI Certified Guest Service Professional designation. And that's big. This isn't just a certificate. It is a passport to opportunities across the global hospitality and tourism industry. Today, you will hear from exceptional presenters who embody the success we envision for each of you. Naomi Garrick, Kalila Reynolds, and Tabaya James will share invaluable insights on personal branding, resume and interview readiness, and financial literacy. These aren't just topics. They are the building blocks of professional success. Personal branding is about discovering and communicating your unique value. In a competitive job market, it's not enough to be qualified. You must be memorable. Your personal brand is your promise to the world about the value you bring. Resume and interview readiness is about presenting your best self with confidence and authenticity. Remember, your resume opens the door, but your presence in that interview room determines whether you walk through it. Financial literacy is perhaps the most critical skill you'll develop. It's not just about managing money. It's about understanding how money works so that money works for you. It's about making informed decisions that build wealth and security for your future. So to every young person listening today, whether you receive a placement this summer or you're preparing for future opportunities, understand this. You are not just participants in a webinar. You are pioneers in your own right. The knowledge you gain today, the connections you make, the skills you develop, these become valuable assets regardless of your placement status this year. For those who will receive internship placements, you'll gain direct work experience that will transform your career trajectory. For those who may not be selected this round, this webinar equips you with the same professional development tools that will serve you well as you pursue other opportunities. Every person here is building their foundation for success. Some of you will discover passions you never knew you had, though you may have thought so, and this you will achieve through direct internship experience. Others will gain clarity about your career direction through the insights that we share today. So whether you're selected for a placement this summer or preparing for future opportunities, all of you will emerge from this experience stronger, more confident, and better prepared for whatever path lies ahead. This program is ultimately about more than individual success. It's about national transformation. Every skilled, confident, professionally prepared young person we produce strengthens Jamaica's competitiveness and enables a competitive advantage in the global marketplace. You're not just preparing for jobs. You are preparing to lead the industries that will drive Jamaica's continued growth and prosperity. So, tourism remains one of our most vital economic sectors. But the skills you develop, the customer service excellence, cultural competency, communication, and professionalism, these are transferable to every industry. So it doesn't matter whether you stay with us or you go to other places. These are valuable tools that will prepare you for the paths that are ahead. As we embark on this webinar, I challenge each of you to approach this experience with the seriousness it deserves. Come ready to learn, to engage, to ask questions, and to push yourselves beyond your comfort zones. The greatest growth happens not when things are easy, but when we stretch ourselves to reach new heights. Be present, be engaged, be ready to transform not just your summer, but your future. From the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the Jamaica Center for Tourism and Innovation, and all our partner organizations, we make this commitment. We will provide opportunities and knowledge to all, recognizing that while we can't place everyone this year, we can equip everyone with valuable tools for success. Whether through direct internship placement or through the professional development you receive today, we are investing in your futures. For those selected for placements, we will provide the platform, but you must have the conviction to stand upon it and shine. For those not selected this round, we provide you with the same professional development tools and encourage you to keep building your qualifications for future opportunities with us and other organizations. To our 112 partner employers and the many more joining this movement, thank you for believing in Jamaica's youth. Your investment in these young people is an investment in our nation's future. Together, we are building more than a program. We are building a pipeline of talent that will drive Jamaica's continued success for generations to come. So in closing, today marks not an end, but a beginning. For those who will be selected for internship, this is the beginning of your direct professional journey with us. For all participants, this is the beginning of your enhanced career development and your continued contribution to Jamaica's growth story. Whether your path leads through our internship program this summer or through other opportunities you'll pursue, remember that success is not a destination. It's a journey of continuous learning, growing, and contributing. The tools and insights you gain today will serve you well wherever your career takes you. As you navigate these internships and plan for future career paths, embrace every challenge as an opportunity to prove your resilience. View every setback as a setup for a comeback. I like that. View every setback as a setup for a comeback. Approach every day with the knowledge that you are not just an intern in a summer job. You are building the foundations for your future. The future of Jamaica's tourism industry, indeed, the future of Jamaica itself, is in capable hands, your hands. Thank you. And may this be the start of something truly transformative for each and every one of you. Happy hunting.
I am sure that all the hands are clapping. For those of us who have joined or who are online, I'm sure all the hands and the heart emojis are going up. We so thank our minister The fact that we have, and as our minister mentioned, even though this year we may not be able to place the over 12,000 applicants, it just shows how much we want that work experience. So even though you may not be placed this year, we are happy that you are still able to join us, because this is about preparing each one of us for the future. So I'm happy Minister mentioned the fact that our webinar is about our commitment to developing young Jamaicans, to prepare you for jobs, not only for this industry or tourism industry, but we're also preparing you, working as a team for other industries. We're not just preparing you for work experience now, but we're preparing you to lead other industries as well. I love the fact that Minister spoke about the first step, right? In other words, we're creating, you now have that responsibility. You're architects of your own future. And by just being here at this webinar, it means that you have taken your first step in assisting in transforming Jamaica. This is about Jamaica's national transformation. The minister mentioned the fact that at the completion of this experience, the Tourism Enhancement Fund's summer internship program, there are several advantages, right? We're going to be getting stackable credentials, right? So beginning on June 12th, after our orientation, then we begin the process of certification. So of course, all our selected candidates will get that opportunity to do the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute's Guest Service Gold Tourism course, which prepares us for the Certified Guest Service Professional credential. And as Minister said, this is an international certification. So in other words, this is not a meal deal, it's actually a big deal, right? Let's remember that. Remember also that our summer job, in terms of our work experience and skills, right, is preparing us for entry into the workspace. So I will encourage all of our interns. In this case, right, Mohammed is not going to the mountain. The mountain, we are bringing that mountain to Mohammed. So when we get into those workspaces, I want us to realize that what the Tourism Enhancement Fund Summer Internship Program is allowing you to do is to put your foot in the door. So that first step. So utilize the opportunity, because now you get that opportunity to create that great first impression. Remember, we never get a second chance to make a great first impression. And through the Tourism Enhancement Fund's Summer Internship Program, we now get that amazing opportunity. So we have international certification, we have work experience, and of course, the associated compensation. And because we know we're preparing and we don't want you to be overwhelmed, hence all the presentations that will not only allow you to create that great first impression in terms of writing that resume, in terms of your personal branding, but when you get that first paycheck from the Tourism Enhancement Fund Summer Internship Program, you will learn to manage that money. We're going to learn how to invest that, because as we say, every mickle make a muckle. Fantastic. So just before our second presenter, I think it is time for us to do some giveaways. Yeah? So, ladies and gents, so this will be, obviously it's going to be for the first correct answer. So by typing, for those of us that are on YouTube, so here is your first question. And of course, we're going to be checking to see who writes the first correct answer. So here we go. When or which year did the summer internship program start? And just want you to know that it is not a meal box that you're going to be getting. After all, this is the Tourism Enhancement Fund, so we have exciting prizes and surprises. Sherissa? So Sherissa Sterling, my girl, big deal coming your way. So congratulations, Sherissa. Congratulations. See, I'm clapping you. I know the others are jealous, but guess what? We get other opportunities. So are we ready for the second question, my team? All right. So here we go. Here is your second question. How many persons participated, as in they were actually employed, so not applied? How many persons were in the summer internship program last year? That's 2024. How many persons? Remember, when you're typing, ladies, do not break a nail. Same for the gentlemen, right? So how many persons were in the summer internship program last year? That's 2024. We're checking to see, we're checking. Rosie? All right, Rosie, you know you'll have to put your correct information. So Rosie, you are correct. 1,100. Excellent. So you're probably wondering, do we have any more prizes? So I think we're going to go to our third question before we introduce our next presenter. So here we go with your third question. I know that we're on edge. Do not fall off your seats. Here we go with question number 3. I want you to list the names of our speakers today, and not only the names of the speakers, but also what they will be speaking about. So the names of our 3 speakers and what each speaker will be speaking about. So remember, not 1, all 3. And just a tip, the speakers have not yet come. Okay, so it's not myself, it's not Chev, it's not Dr. Wallace, it's not our Honorable Minister of Tourism. So the 3 speakers who will be addressing you today, their names and what they're going to be speaking about. Chanel Palmer. Congratulations, Chanel. Boy, Chanel, it means that you're certainly utilizing those 2 ears. So thank you, Chanel. Chanel would have mentioned Naomi Garrick, who is going to be speaking to us later about personal branding. Of course, she would have also mentioned Tobia James, who is going to speak to us about resume and interview readiness. And of course, our other speaker, which is Kalila Reynolds, and Kalila is going to be speaking to us about financial literacy. So congratulations again. Awesome. So ladies and gents, we're going to just take a 3-minute break for you to listen to some motivational music. We will be right back as we get our presenter ready. I'm just going to let you take a quick look at our 3 presenters. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Welcome back. I am trusting that whatever we needed to do, you see, we were able to sense that you needed to be excused from your screens just for a few minutes. So, ladies and gents, we're going to begin this segment with resume and interview readiness. Of course, we have none other than Tobia James, who is a career development officer, hailing from Mandeville, Manchester, by way of Portmore, St. Catherine. Tobia James is a vibrant yet humble woman with a deep passion for empowering young people to achieve their full potential. She currently serves as a career development officer with the Hart NSTA Trust at the Hart College of Hospitality Services in Runaway Bay, St. Anne. In this role, she finds great fulfillment in guiding youth through critical career and life decisions. A proud graduate of Excelsior High School, Knox Community College, and Jamaica Theological Seminary, where she earned a bachelor's degree in social work with honors. Mrs. James is a testament to the power of resilience, having once struggled academically in high school, a reminder that everyone can recover from setbacks. Her journey reflects her core belief: every Jamaican has the potential to rise and thrive with the right support and determination. Mrs. James is a Christian, a counselor, podcast host, a speaker, writer. I love this one. She is a bathroom singing sensation, a big dancer, and a widow with strength, resilience, and compassion evident in every area of her life. Above all, she is driven by an unwavering commitment to youth development. She believes that everyone has the ability to rise above their circumstances with faith and a push in the right direction. With a cheerful disposition, she hopes that her infectious personality will lift the spirits of those around her, and that the story of her life will be a source of inspiration for at least one. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure, your listening pleasure, Mrs. Tobia James.
Hello everyone. I hope you're hearing me, and I hope everything is good on your end, and I hope I still look pretty while I am doing this. I'm joking. Well, everyone, it is indeed a distinct pleasure to be here speaking to the next summer interns. I am so humbled to have been asked to serve in this capacity. And so I pray that as we go through this session, this beautiful webinar that has been put together by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, that indeed the participants will learn something new that they can apply to their lives. Yes, I am Tobia James. I am many things, but I can also say that I am indeed a work in progress. Listen, I didn't begin like this. I wish I could say that I was always like this, but I was not. I was not always this poised. I was not always the kind of person who applies herself. For a while there, I was very lazy in high school, and so the success that I should have, attained, I did not. I wasted a lot of time. And, I'm just thankful that at some point in time, I got it. It clicked and it just started to work. And I never stopped because I realized that I was holding myself back. And so as I progressed at each stage of my life, I realized that there was more for me to do. There was more for me to know. And so I kept applying myself. I kept on troubleshooting because, life, let me tell you, life is like a computer. You always have to be troubleshooting because you may never know what might be the solution. So you have to keep going. There is never a point in time where you say, I'm going to give up. And it's the same thing with my resume. I started off very rough with my resume and my cover letter, very, very rough, because I didn't get that, training in how to do my cover letters and my resumes. And it was a very rough patch there. I know where I started. It was nowhere near where I am right now. But, keep going at it and keep improving, keeping to improve myself is what really has led me here as I've been introduced as one of those persons who you can really rely on to get career advice and also to help with direction in how to prepare a resume. And so I am here for you, all the participants here today. I am here for you this morning to help you to navigate this space that you're going into. You're navigating internship and career growth. And part of that navigation also takes you into preparing your cover letters or your application letters and your resumes. So let me begin with sharing my presentation that, listen to me, I work so hard on it. I hope that persons will get something from it because I really, truly did work hard at it. And, I always pride myself on upgrading what it is that I do. I'd never just keep it at the same level. I am always trying to upgrade and upscale and do something different. So all my slides is something new that I've never done before because I am a techie at heart, but I'm also one of those girls who I like to make things exciting. I like to make things new and modern. And so every time I try to explore with something else. So this time around, I am exploring a lot with animations and all of that. You're lucky that I didn't have a video thrown in there for good measure. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin with that's how we're going to start today. We're starting with some health statistics that you really and truly need to know. 83% managers always or frequently read of companies also require that you actually present a cover letter. All companies want you to present a resume, and of course, over 80%. Those resumes, they don't. All right, we're back. I think we are back and stronger than ever. Are you seeing me? Is all right? All right, we're back in. All right, let me go back to sharing. I apologize. Okay, so we are back. We're back. I saw what the challenge is, so we're just going to go right ahead with what I have. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I started out with some helpful statistics, and this is where now we come in with our particular training in resume writing, cover letter writing. All right. So of course, we are here to ensure that you know what a cover letter resume is as well as their functions. What do they do? What are their purposes? Also, we want to ensure that we outline the components of cover letters and resumes. We also want to be able to utilize buzzwords in order to enhance those cover letters and resumes. And also, we want to align cover letters and resumes to the job that you seek and identify good and bad practices in cover letter and resume writing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here are some skills that employers seek. Now, when we think about what it is that employers want, we have to look at things like teamwork, your ability to work on a team, your communication, verbal and written. We're also looking for someone who is detail oriented. We want persons who are flexible, who are adaptable, who use their initiative, who has leadership qualities, and not just have them, but they employ leadership in all that they do. They also have problem solving skills, a strong and positive, I like to say, work ethic. They have strong technical skills, and they're also tech savvy or also have some sort of digital knowledge. Those are some things the employers seek. It is now incumbent upon you to ensure that your cover letter and your resume reflects all of these employability skills. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are some bad cover letters out there, right? You have persons who they just want you to know that, listen, we're just there for the work. I'm want to give me a chance. And they talk all sorts of things. They sometimes go into even their life story in their cover letters. And sometimes you're thinking that they're writing an actual letter back home to give them an update on everything that they've been involved in all of their life. So these letters can sometimes span 3, 4 pages. But the cover letter, if you want it to be a real and true depiction of what it is that you have to offer, you have to understand what a cover letter is. Now, a cover letter is not something informal that you write to a professional entity. A cover letter is a short or a concise letter that details who you are, why you are applying for the particular job. It also introduces you to the employer as to why you think you are a good fit for the job. So when we say concise, it's short, it's 1 page, not longer than two. So you have to get it cut down to 1 page. And if we're thinking about it, you're really just selling yourself and saying why it is that you are a good fit for this particular position. Now, the purpose of cover letters is really to introduce yourself and clearly define who you are. My name is Tobia James. I am writing to apply to the position of manager at the so and so hotel. In light of my accomplishments, my experience in management and human resources, you are introducing yourself, right? And then, of course, your cover letter also highlights your most notable qualifications, experiences, even your achievements, because it's always good that you can know open with that, highlight what it is that makes you a good fit, and those achievements are what makes you a good fit. Also, it identifies the value you can bring to the employer, and that's really what the employer wants to know. If I hire you today, what value can you bring to my team, to my space? And that's really what you want to bring out of your resume, of your cover letter and your resume. Also, it captures the reader's interests. That's what you're supposed to do. They're supposed to be captivated by what it is that you have. It's that introduction to what they're going to see in your resume. So they have to be captivated. And of course, it has to motivate the reader to want to get in touch with you and schedule an interview for you. So that's the purpose. Now, with your outline, the one thing we want to tell you, it should be 3 paragraphs at least, but at most 4. And 4 is really pushing it, but I can tell you how the 4 comes in. But it's generally 3 paragraphs: your opening paragraph, your body paragraphs, and your closing paragraph. That is all you need. And then you sign, and that's all. So that is how simple your cover letter should be. Now let's write your cover letter. It's really down to hook. You have to have a good hook. What are you going to say that makes them want to reach out to you? You also have to fit. Show why you are a good fit for that particular position within that particular entity. And then, of course, you have to call them to action, because when you introduce yourself now and you showcase that you are the person that they want, now you're going to say, I am going to ask you to follow up with me for an interview at a mutually convenient time. So that's the call to action right there. So you have your hook, your fit, and also your call to action. Very, very simple. So let's go through it detail by detail. Now, of course, the top of your cover letter, it must have your professional details, your name, your address, your contact information. And of course, after that, you have your date. Very, very simple. So your address, your name, if you want to even do a letterhead. I love how persons are exploring with, using letterheads instead of just the business resume or the business cover letter. They're utilizing a letterhead that actually reflects them. Now, be careful with those letterheads, because sometimes we might think that we can use things like images and all of that. Sometimes those images don't reflect very well on the positions that we want. So, for example, you're going to be a server. You feel as though your head, your letterhead should have, someone, a waiter in it with the glasses and the plates and all of that. No, you don't have to do that. So if you're doing a letterhead, make it simple. Just your name that is very, very noticeable, and then your contact details before. And of course, after that, you have the date, what date it is that you're sending this application letter. And then now you have the employer's name, who you're addressing the letter to, the employer's position or their name, also the address of the organization, and the name of the actual entity that should be there. So you have employer's name, Mr. John Doe, also their position, Human Resources Director, the name and the address of the organization, Roy Hotel and Industries, 51 Main Street, such and such. All right, so that is how you do that. And of course, you begin with your salutation. Dear Mr. So and so, dear Dr. So and so. Or if you don't know their names at all, even after you would have researched, you did not get the HR director's name, you did not get the hiring manager's name, say, dear human resources manager, dear hiring manager, dear talent manager. But first, you must do your research. Must do your research, all right? Also, your first paragraph, ladies and gentlemen, this is now your hook. This is how you're going to start everything off, and you're going to hook everybody that's there. What position you're seeking, who you are, how you learned of the opportunity, and what it is that you have to offer that would make you a good fit. So that is your first paragraph, your hook right there. Then you have your second paragraph, which is the body. This depicts yourself as a candidate who merits an interview. It also illustrates those specific skills, those responsibilities, those achievements, and also those problems that you would have figured out how to meet that challenge. You also put that there to showcase that you are the ideal candidate. So that is your fit. So we just spoke about the hook. Then we go on to the fit. And of course, now your last paragraph, which is the third paragraph, this is where you call to action, where you you leave the contact information or where they can see your contact information, and then you close with your salutation, yours sincerely, sign and put your full name, and that is your cover letter. So we might often think that it is a difficult process when we're writing our cover letters, but we always have to put some kind of thought into what is it that I want these employers to know about me? How am I introducing myself right off the bat? And so those three, just those three, will help you a far away. I do hope that persons are taking notes as they go, because it is indeed a time for notes taking. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, the key things to note about your cover letter: research the employer. Number one, research the employer. Analyze the job description, two, and also your background, as well as three, determine if you are a good fit before applying. Listen, research your employer. I am not going to underscore that. Some of the times we just blindly send out resumes and cover letters and we don't know what the persons do. We don't know anything about the company. And so we make different kinds of faux pas where whenever we're applying, our skill sets does not align with that of the company. So we have to research the employer. How do your experience, your skills, your knowledge, your abilities and interests meet their needs? How does it align? What do you know about the company that makes you want to work there? Because that's another important thing. Why do you want to work there? And I mean, they're going to ask you that in the interview. Why not also bring that out in your cover letter to show them that, listen, I have been up to date on the company. I see what you do with volunteerism. I see what you do with capacity building for your staff members. And I see how it is that persons work together in that team to create a whole lot of success within Jamaica as well as the diaspora. So, what can you say that shows that you are doing some research on the company, why you would be aligned to their particular brand? Also, make sure you send to a specific person whenever possible. Listen, there's always a way to know who the HR manager is, or the HR director, or the talent manager. There's always something. Call, go there, research. What do you need to do to showcase that you are really and truly in tune with the company? Call the person's name. So say it. Dear Mr. So and so, find out the names of these persons and put it there. But once again, as I said before, if all else fails and you really did not get any information, then you are able to say their hiring manager, their human resource manager, their talent manager, and so on and so forth. The second thing to note: analyze the job description and your background. Know what it is that the job requires. Yes, you may have been a server for 10 years, for example, but the job now requires you to be a maitre d', someone who has more supervisory abilities. You've never been a
Your time zone to set the clock. To set it, open
I'm
the
so
Alexa
sorry.
app. Go to echo.set.
All right. So you don't know what it is that a maitre d' does. You're going to go for this maitre d' job position, but you've never done any courses in supervisory management. You've never done anything like that, but you're going for it. We're not saying that you can't aspire for higher, but nothing that you have done reflects that. You clear table, you take orders, that's all you do. You come in and you go. That's all. You've never done or have been interested in anything where there is supervisory aspects of the job, and you are going for that because you're saying the maitre d' is responsible for the restaurant, for example, and they're saying, okay, I know restaurant operation. You know it, but how much do you know about inventory, budgeting, all of that. So you have to now look at the job description, what is required of the job description, and what it is that your skill sets will allow you to do. So you have to ensure that those things match, draw from similar experiences, maybe because it could very well be you guys are interns, you may not have had any kind of work experience before. How do you now leverage the experience you have at school? How do you know leverage the experience you may have had during work experience when you were in high school? How do you know leverage the experience that you have had with being involved in extracurricular activities? You can use those things to be that thing you draw on to really and truly showcase that, listen, I may not have the technical know-how, but you see the attitudes that I have developed during these different areas of my life, being on the football team, being a prefect, all of those skill sets that I have developed, those are the things that kind of prepares me to be in this particular role. So your coursework, sometimes those projects will also be something that helps you to showcase things like teamwork, volunteerism. Did you go and do a coastal cleanup? Did you do some community service? That can also be helpful. Also, those professional associations that you have joined, those things are also helpful. And also, listen, don't just apply to a job for applying sake. The third thing to note is that you must determine if you are a good fit before applying. You have looked at the job description, you have looked at your experience. Am I a good fit for this position? And sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves, because I'm telling you, you can lie your way through an interview. I tell persons that all the time. You can lie your way through an interview, but I'm telling you, you're gonna have to pay the piper. You're gonna have to pay the piper when the work starts to pile up and really it shows you up. So if you are not a good fit, don't try to force it. You are just not a good fit. There's something else out there for you. All right. Now, of course, to write a great cover letter, it takes practice. That's number one. Like you have to keep on doing it in order for it to come naturally to you, right? But here are some tips that can help you to write yourself a great cover letter and win that interview, because that's what it's for, right? So the first thing you have to do is tailor your letter. I cannot tell you how many generic cover letters I have seen and they annoy me. Listen, you know what the position is that you're going for. Write as if you do know. I hate to see I am applying for any position within your entity. What you mean? What do you mean any position? So I can let you go and clean the bathroom? So you're telling me that I can just let you go for the mail from the mailbox and you come back? There is no such thing as any position. You know exactly what it is that your skill sets require. If you are a high school student and you're going into a new industry, you're an intern. Look at your subjects. What did you do? Did you do things that have IT things in it? Did you have office procedures in it? You know that, okay, maybe you are towards something in business, maybe you are in admin. So you know these things. If you did physical education, drama, if those are the things that you did, maybe it is that you are towards an entertainment coordinator. So you know it. Tailor it to what it is that you need. Tailor it to the position. Don't be generic, all right? And make sure also in tailoring your letter, you are not just randomly saying your organization. Call them name. Say, I would your the position of server at the Rio Hotel. Say it. At the Princess Hotel and Resorts. That's how you know that you're tailoring your letter, because everything within that letter is not just the address that you change and the person you're addressing it to. Everything reflects what it is that Princess Hotel does, different from what Rio Hotel does, different from what Bahia does. Everything is tailored specifically. Also, showcase your achievements. I'm telling you, we like to see achievements. We don't want to hear that you're just hardworking and all of that kind of thing. Show me how you're hardworking. What results did it yield you? What are your achievements? So showcase that in your letter. Also, mention your position in the first paragraph. Mention what it is that you want. Don't let persons have to be reading. Is what them come for, and find out at the end. Say it up front. This is what I want. Right? Show how your career goals align with the position and the organization. A lot of the times we are doing letters and we just are so very general in what it is that we want to achieve. But no, what specifically do we want from being a part of this team? Why can't I get it over there? It's a reason why I want to come here, This is why my goals for personal and professional growth, it cannot be achieved if I go anywhere else but here. So you have to see that coming out in your letter. We have to know that, yes, you probably want some money for training. You probably want to build up a business on the side, and probably that's what you want to do. But when you are showing that I need to be here because not just of a proven track record, don't just be generic and say proven track record. Say what it is that they did or have done, have been doing, why you want to align with them. Because I'm telling you, companies love loyalty. They love when you stroke their ego to say, listen, I've been doing this. I'm glad somebody noticed, and I'm glad they want to be a part of my team. Listen, companies love it. They look for those little things because they want to know, do you know me? So ensure that in your letter, you're showing how those things align. All right. You also have to ensure that you use succinct points when you're supporting your suitability. It's always good to say that I am hardworking, dedicated, but that's generic. Now, when you're talking about why it is that you're self-motivated, what happened, why is it that you have good leadership qualities, what happened, don't just talk about the whole story. I was thrust into leadership at a very young age. Listen, that's for the interview. That's for the interview. You don't have to put it all in your letter because it will take up time. And let me tell you, another tip is proofread. Errors can get away from us. Spelling errors, grammatical errors. So make sure that you proofread. Let somebody else give an eye, because you don't want to send something out that has errors in it, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to put it in file 13. They're going to disregard it. Also, use your professional tone. It is not a friendly letter. That's one thing I need to remind persons. It's not a friendly letter at all. All right, so you have to remind yourself of that. So use a professional tone. Also highlight your passion. Invite your employer to follow up with you. And also, if you don't hear from them, always follow up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope some of these things will help you to develop your cover letter when the time comes. And I will definitely be sharing with you some of those things that will help you to really write and succeed at writing your cover letter.
Thank you very much, Madam Tobia James. Of course, we appreciate the fact that, and I know for sure that our participants online appreciate the importance of a cover letter, especially when we saw that statistics in terms of 83% of potential employers actually want to see that, 60% asks for it. The importance of flexibility, adaptability, digital knowledge, some of the things that our employers are looking for, and the fact that for us, we need to ensure that those skills are covered in our resume as well as our cover letter. And as one employer just asked me to make a note that one of the things that they look for in our resumes is for us to actually list the name of our referees as opposed to saying that they will be provided as needed. So thank you so very much, Tobia James, and I am sure that all of our participants thank you and will begin to work on our cover letters and our resumes because, as you mentioned, practice, practice, practice. So, ladies and gents, we thank Mrs. Tobia James, and we now welcome Naomi Garrick, who is a personal branding coach and trainer. Naomi is an author, international speaker, PR practitioner, entrepreneur, and a personal branding coach that is passionate about helping others to discover and develop their unique personal brand to stand out in a noisy world. She is a seasoned coach specializing in executive presence and personal branding. With a rich background in leadership development and communication, Naomi has helped numerous leaders refine their public persona and enhance their influence both within the organizations and in the broader industry. Her approach combines practical strategies with insightful guidance, tailored to the unique needs and goals of each leader. She is a certified reputation champion by the Public Relations Society of America and a leadership contributor for Entrepreneur magazine with over 20 years of experience in public relations and marketing, working with 100 plus brands and individuals. She is also the published author of 4 books around building more purposeful and profitable personal brands and a contributing writer to the Jamaica Observer on the topic of personal branding. Naomi is a 2018 Vital Voices Grow Fellow, a 2017 Scotiabank Vision Achiever, a past nominee for the 2018 Entrepreneur Award by the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and was one of the first recipients to receive the Distinguished Award in Communication by the Jamaica Gleaner in 2019. Naomi was also a semi-finalist for the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Caribbean Award in 2023. For the last 15 years, Naomi has been the CEO and founder of Garrick Communications Limited, a leading boutique PR agency based in Kingston, Jamaica, that helps brands and companies to be seen, heard, and experienced by their ideal target audience. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminder that we're going to be also offering prizes based on our presenters. So please ensure that we are listening and, of course, putting into practice what we're about to learn. We welcome Naomi Garrick, personal branding coach. I see the emojis. Welcome, Naomi.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So excited to be here. I do have a presentation that I will be sharing on screen to support what I'll be sharing about having a winning personal brand. But before I even get into that, I just wanted to share a little background about me and my personal branding journey. You just heard my lovely bio being read with all of these great accomplishments and experience and expertise. But what a lot of people don't know is I actually do not have a degree in anything currently. I'm currently doing my executive MBA. And so that means that without a degree, I have had to leverage things that Mrs. Stewart James spoke about earlier, my soft skills, my personal brand, my experience, knowledge, and expertise to get where I am today. And so, just a little background about me. I actually studied hotel and tourism management, so I think I'm in the right place. And even though I did my bachelor's degree program for 4 years, I didn't end up graduating because I just couldn't get over the hurdle of subjects like statistics and accounting. However, I never ever let the fact that I did not actually graduate stop me from pursuing my goals in the tourism and hospitality space. And so, even though I did not have a degree, I used opportunities like my internships. I did an internship at the Roundhill Hotel, internships at the Terra Nova Hotel, where I went from being an intern to a sales and banking coordinator, getting into the Super Club's trainee manager program without having my degree, but because of the experience and the knowledge that I brought from these internship experiences into my trainee manager program. Within 6 months out of a 3 year program, I was promoted to become the sales manager at Grand Meat on the Grill at the age of 22 years old. And so I share all of that to say that in addition to having your degree or your certifications, which are great and they provide amazing support to what you actually do, you also need to look at what are those additional skill sets, your personality, how you show up, how you stand out, what makes you different, what makes you unique, that's going to get you through the door and to have these great opportunities. And when I was listening to our presenter before, she touched on quite a lot of those things that sometimes we forget to include in our resume, those soft skills, the things that make us who we are. Because what we realize too is that as we step into the working world, you're going up for different internships, work experiences, you're going to have a lot of people vying for those same spaces. And you may come across people that may have the same credentials on paper as you. So maybe you're studying the same thing, or you're doing the same certification program, or you're doing the same degree. But what else are you going to say in that interview that's going to give you the edge, that's going to make you stand out? What are you going to bring from your unique experiences, different circumstances, work experiences, or even just your surroundings, what you did at school, that's going to help to elevate you above everybody else. And so, what we're going to be talking about today is how can you create a winning personal brand that you can leverage and that will allow you to really stand out in a very noisy world, utilizing your skills, knowledge, experience, and expertise to have that edge and really get you through the door. So I'm going to share my screen now and go through a really great presentation with some key steps to how you can build a winning personal brand. So let me just share. Can let me know if you are all seeing my screen. Okay. So first, Dr. Sue says, and you can let me know if I know I'm seeing myself on screen, but you can let me know if my presentation is actually showing as well, team. Dr. Sue says, today you are you that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. He also says, why fit in when you are born to stand out? We have been hearing this term personal branding for a while now. I think especially over the last 4 to 5 years. And it's not something that's new, right? We all have a personal brand. It's simply your reputation. However, you have the ability to really position, package, and promote your personal brand so that you can be known for a thing. You can be that go-to person. Your name is called in different rooms before you because people are aware of your big personality or things that allow you to stand out. So what we need to do is we need to actually figure out what is our existing personal brand and what else could you be doing to really enhance your personal brand for different opportunities. So your personal brand is a couple of different things. It's first of all how you see yourself. But we may see ourselves a different way, or maybe we see ourselves a way that we don't necessarily portray to the rest of the world. So your personal brand also becomes, what do others say about you? Jeff Bezos from Amazon says your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Are you aware of what people are saying about you when you're not even in the room? And is it aligned with how you want to be represented? Your personal brand is also the thing that you want to be known for. So what's that go-to thing, or what are those key words that you want to be associated with your name? Oh, Tanisha is very helpful. She's always on time. She's always supporting her department. She always wants to learn more. She presents herself very well. She shows up to work ready to start the day. What are the things that you want to be known for? And I'll give you just a short example. I had mentioned earlier that while I was in the trainee manager program at Super Clubs, it's a 3-year program. You're supposed to work in all of the hotels and work in every single department. So by the end of the 3 years, you have all this experience and you can become a manager. I started my training manager program at a particular resort. It was Grand Lido Braco at the time, which I believe is now Melia Braco. I started in the sales and marketing department because that was the department at the time with the most need. Even though that was my area of focus, I did not only stay in the sales and marketing department. I was all over the property. I think I probably was considered the North training manager from Kingston because I knew everybody. I spoke with everybody from the groundsmen to the housekeepers, waiters, managers. I knew everybody and everybody knew me. And I was always willing to help and pitch in with other departments, even though that was not what's supposed to be my focus. And so what ended up happening after 6 months of being in that program, another general manager promoted me to become a full-time sales manager at their property, which was Grand Lido Negril. That is personal branding, right? The fact that people are talking about you, able to have conversations about you, be able to observe you and how you show up and recommend you for other opportunities. So instead of doing a 3-year training manager program, I went from a training manager in 6 months to a full-time manager right after that. And so I'm sharing this just to show how important and relevant it is to understand your own personal brand and how you can use these things to really show up and stand out in any opportunity. It starts from high school. It goes right into your first job opportunity. What are the things that you want to walk away with or people to walk away with about you? Your personal brand is also, how do people react to how they interact with you? What are the emotions that people have? Are they happy to see you? Are they disappointed when you walk through the door? What are the emotions that you want people to have when they experience your brand? Your personal brand is also about solving a unique problem because of your skills, experience, education, and knowledge. Or you can even interchange one of those E's with expertise. You have to know what you bring to the table, how you do it differently, and what, again, you want to be known for. And more importantly, your personal brand has now become, what does Google have to say about you? We're all in this online space. Sometimes before you even get through the door, people are looking at your online platform to see if you are a good fit for that company and that brand. And I will talk a little bit more about that. Don't wait to ensure that you have a good standing in the online space. Whatever is online stays there forever unless you take it off. And sometimes when you take it off, it's too late. So we have to make sure that from now we're starting to look at, what does my online presence say about me? And is it aligned with this professional brand that I'm trying to portray to the rest of the world? Here are some benefits of personal branding. And what we found is A lot of companies are now starting to really invest in the personal brand initiatives for their employees because they realize, one, it lets employees feel more valued and it allows them to really showcase their skills and knowledge and expertise in that space, which adds more value to the company as well. So some of the benefits include becoming known for a thing. You are that go-to person. You are known as, in my case, I would like to be known as the PR chick. I want to be known for personal branding and PR. And so I position my brand in a way so that even if you don't know me, maybe you've heard about me and you know that I do these two things. So I'm very deliberate about how I position my brand in the on and offline space because this is what I want to be known for. Having a strong personal brand also helps to build trust and credibility with those that meet and interact with you. It also helps to create thought leadership. So again, you become that go-to person for a particular thing. It creates differentiation. So allowing you again to stand out from your peers. It creates access to new opportunities. It helps with the positioning of your skills and your expertise, and it allows you to have a seat at the table or even an opportunity to build your own table. So how do you discover your personal brand? So for me, I believe there are 3 key steps to discovering your personal brand. And the first step is just getting clarity. Getting clarity on yourself, you as just a person, as an individual. So starting with, how would you describe yourself? If you were to describe yourself in a sentence, what would that sound like? What are some of the things that you are truly passionate about? What are your core values? What gets you up in the morning? And then also knowing what are your short and long-term goals, both in a professional capacity and in a personal capacity. So starting first with just getting clarity on you, the person, who you are. Once you have clarity on who you are, then you want to move to what value do I bring to the world or to this space or to myself? And in order to find out that, you want to ask yourself some questions. What skills have you learned or developed along your journey? So you can even think about your high school experience. What kind of soft skills or what knowledge have you learned during that time? If you've done any internships before or any job opportunities, summer jobs, volunteering, what are those different skills through those experiences that you have learned or developed on your own journey that adds additional value to who you are? We're always on a quest to add more value. The more value you have, the more you're able to stand out and position yourself for better opportunities. But you have to also do the audit on yourself to figure out what are these things that I've learned or developed. What are some gifts that you naturally possess that could be of value as well? What is it about your job, if you've had a previous job before, whether it's an internship, summer job, volunteering, that you really enjoyed? So what previous work experience have you had that you really, really enjoyed and you want to do more of that? You think that you can actually improve on those skills. Is there a unique problem that you believe that you solve, again, because of your own experiences, your knowledge, your expertise? Is there something that you are able to solve in a different way that somebody else does not? And then also, how can you do things differently or better? So even while you're doing your internship programs or your work experience, you're getting to absorb a lot of information, very fast paced, especially if you're going into the hospitality and tourism industry. How can you learn different things, or how can you observe a situation or a space that you're in and think about how could you be doing this better? How can you add more value to this space, right? So we're not only going to learn and take from the experience, we also want to put value back into whichever institution or company or organization that we are going to be working for as well. So it's looking at your situation and seeing, how can I do this better or differently? That at the end of the day, is going to put me in the position of being a very valuable asset to this organization. So we first started with getting clarity, really getting clarity on who you are, understanding that one, you have value, but really looking at what is my unique value? What do I bring to the table? How am I going to leave this place even better than it was? And when I finish my internship, everybody's going to want my resume, or they're just going to ask me to extend and become a full-time employee. That's the goal. So you want to look at your value, but you have to be able to communicate that value, right? So this is the part where I think a lot of us fall short. We may know who we are, we may understand the value that we have, but we're not so great on actually communicating that value to others so that they know that you are the ideal choice. So you want to first identify who is your ideal customer or audience. And if it is the case that you're going on an internship or work experience, your ideal audience is going to be everyone that you serve in that role. So it could be the guests that you may attend to, it could be your direct supervisor or report, it could be your team members. You have to identify who is your ideal person or group of people that need to know your value, right? So that you ensure that you are always consistently showing up for them. You also need to identify what are the problems that they have that you believe you can solve. So even in your role, whatever that is, you are always trying to be a problem solver for your ideal customer or audience. So you are always looking at ways to add value, provide excellence, and solve problems. You also need to know where is your ideal audience. And your ideal audience can be in the online space, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the online space. And your ideal audience is going to be people you interact with on a day-to-day basis, inside and outside of the organization. One thing I just want to make a note of about your personal brand is that we cannot be walking around with multiple personalities. We don't want to show up one way at work, we're showing up a different way online, and then we're showing up a different way at home. And I get it. I understand that we may not show all of ourselves in the workplace, and we reserve some of that for home depending on the setting and space. But what we don't want are three completely different personalities, because what happens is you're not then leveraging your personal brand, because we're not sure what your personal brand is and which one is the right personal brand. That's too much work for people to figure out. So you want to ensure that when you're communicating your brand, whether it is in the online space or offline space, it is authentic and it is consistent across the board. So get clarity on who you are, understand your unique value, and then how are you communicating this value to the people that matter? Why has the personal brand become so relevant now? The personal brand has become, or this term personal branding has become so relevant today because everyone has access to your brand. And I'll quote Tim Ferriss, who says, personal branding is about managing your name, even if you don't own a business. In a world of misinformation, disinformation, and semi-records, going on a date, chances are that your blind date has Googled your name. Going to a job interview, ditto. We live in a digital world. Everyone now has access to your brand with a single online search. And the reality is that a lot of companies now, their HR department, before you even get through the door with that resume, they are going to be searching your online profiles. And they're not searching your profiles because they want to be in your personal business, but they have to ensure that this lovely, beautifully crafted resume that we can all now craft amazing resumes with AI and chat GPT and these things must align with this person that I'm seeing on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and TikTok, right? Because you have to also be a good fit for this company and brand. And the reality is, the minute you start working for a company and you put on that branded shirt or pin, you become an automatic brand ambassador for that organization. And so you have to ensure that how you are showing up is in alignment with this person that you are pitching in this really amazing resume and when you go to do your really awesome job interview, right? And we see it happening time and time again because we know that your personal brand becomes aligned with the business brand once you start working with a company, even after you've stopped working with the company, because that's how a lot of people associate you. So you want to ensure that whatever is showing up for you online is accurate and is a good representation of your brand. Warren Buffett says it takes 20 years to build a reputation and only about 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you think about that, you'll do things differently. But in our fast paced digital society, you can ruin your reputation with the snap of a finger. It's with a screenshot, a voice note, a post on X, a video, a leaked message from WhatsApp, a voice recording, an inappropriate picture on a social media channel that you thought you deleted, but it's still there, or someone took a screenshot before you deleted, and so it's still circulated. And so it's so much harder to build back your reputation once it is smeared in that digital space. Not saying you can't, but it just takes so much more work after all the hard work that you had put in before. So you have to be very, very, very mindful of how you are showing up in these online spaces. You are the guardian for your own personal brand, and you need to ensure that you are showing up in the right way across all of the platforms. And it doesn't matter if your platform is private. Once it's online, people can find a way to have access. So just know that even in your private online space, you would be comfortable if for some reason someone got access to your profiles. Okay, so we have to ensure that we are showing up the right way in our online spaces. So how can you start building your brand both on and offline? You start with making a brand promise to yourself. You need to know, what do you want to be known for? You need to think about what words would you want people to use to describe you? Who can actually mentor you to help you to achieve your brand goals faster? They say that success leaves clues, even if you cannot get a physical mentor. There are so many amazing resources online, people that you can follow. You can learn about their story that can help you to work on your brand goals. What can I do to enhance my growth? What books can I read? What podcasts can I listen to? What YouTube videos can I watch? What online resources or courses can I explore? There's so many online resources and courses for free. I remember during the pandemic, Google had a couple of courses, and I did one in digital marketing for free. So there are lots of resources that you can use to help to add additional value to your brand. What else can I learn about my industry? Am I keeping up with the trends of the tourism industry? Do I know what's happening with the tourism industry right here in Jamaica? What will be my key differentiators? So you want to make a brand promise to yourself that includes all of these different things. We don't want to just say that we're going to do these things. We have to put a plan in place and actually start doing the things. Do an online audit. Check on Google. Just do a search to see what shows up for you online. Nothing may show up, or some things may show up, or you may have a popular first and last name and you see other people with your name showing up and not you. By doing an online audit, you get to see what is already available or not available for you in the online space, and it gives you an opportunity to start updating these profiles. Are all of your online profiles updated with a current image and an accurate information? Making sure your current image is not a selfie. It doesn't have other people in the background. We can clearly see your face. You're showing up in the way that you want to be addressed. Let's not put our graduation pictures. Let's just get some professional headshots on our profiles, especially on LinkedIn. A lot of people think LinkedIn is this digital resume holder, and it is not. It is such an amazing platform to really build your brand and thought leadership and contribute to other communities in the space. But the first place someone's going to look at is your online profile. Ensure that it's up to date with accurate and current information about where you are in your career journey and the value that you have brought to the different experiences that you have or can bring to new experiences. You want to ensure that what results come up for you are relevant to your current role, or what do you want to be known for? And are the results a true representation of who you are today? We have to just start by showing up. Let excellence be your brand. When you are excellent, you become unforgettable. Utilize your online channels. We now live in a digital space where we have access. We basically get to create our own media channels, right? With access to YouTube, with access to X, with access to TikTok, with access to Instagram, Facebook, all of these channels, LinkedIn. Utilize the resources that are available to position your brand. Let's stop putting all kinds of things that are just not relevant to our growth and development. Let's put things that make people say, yes, I want to explore this individual. I think this could be a good fit for our company. A lot of times people are looking for people exactly like you, and they start with an online search. So what you want to ensure is that when that opportunity comes your way, you're already positioned for greatness. Your personal brand checklist. Do a quick check-in on how your brand is currently being perceived. And here's the way to do this. This is the thing I want you to write down. I want you to write down 5 words that you would use to describe yourself. And you are going to, so this is your home fun, right? So it's not homework, it's home fun. You're going to write down 5 words that you'd use to describe yourself, and you're going to ask 10 other people, right? So it could be a teacher, a pastor, your best friend, a colleague, a lecturer, someone that you don't really know well, but they know who you are. Ask these 10 people to give you 5 words that they would use to describe you. And what you want to see is, do any of the words that you have written down come back in what people say about you? What are some new words that they have used to describe you that you may have probably not thought of using to describe yourself, but you like it, so you want to do more of that thing? And then looking also if there are words that were used that you don't like, because now you have an opportunity to correct that if you choose to do so. So that's what I like to call a brand check-in. It's a very quick way to just do an evaluation of where you are currently with your personal brand. Clarity, value, communication. Start with getting clarity on who you are, understand your unique value, and how you're going to communicate this to others. Make a brand promise to yourself and take action with those things. Do an online audit and see how you are showing up in the online space and what you need to do to ensure that your online brand is aligned with your real life in-person brand. Start showing up. Excellence is always in the details. Get online and start showing up with value. You already have a personal and professional brand, but everyone that's in this Zoom today has the opportunity to create and build a winning personal brand that will consistently open doors to new opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Naomi. You know, I love the whole aspect of being super careful in terms of whatever we write online, the fact that it is extremely difficult for that to be erased. So thank you very much, Naomi, in giving us information in terms of how to have or how to develop a winning personal brand. Some of the pointers that stood out for us is the fact that we need to start with a brand promise, right? Do an online audit of yourself. Google yourself. What do you see? Start showing up. The importance of letting excellence be your brand. And of course, utilize your online channels. So thank you so very much. I am sure that all of our participants will begin to implement the suggestions that you have given so that we can add value, provide excellence, as well as solve problems. So thank you so very much, Naomi. We did make a promise, ladies and gents, in terms of giving out some more prizes. So for our viewers that are on Instagram, again, the questions, I'll ask the question, and of course the first person with the correct response. So here goes our first question. How old is the Tourism Enhancement Fund? And if you can guess my age, then you're going to be correct. How old is the Tourism Enhancement Fund? And if you ever overestimate how old the Tourism Enhancement Fund is, we're going to have a problem. So we're just checking to see, so our Instagram users, how old is the Tourism Enhancement Fund? Just give me a few. I'm about to announce the winner. So Sanjay 45612, Sanjay, come on, man. Sanjay, I know you need to write out your name properly, but Sanjay, congratulations. And you know, if you were in person, I would shake your hand for guessing my age, 20 years. Fantastic. Oh, I remember those days. It's probably like 29 years ago. Next question. Here we go. What division of the Tourism Enhancement Fund is the summer internship program a part of? So what division, and remember this is for our Instagram users, what division of the Tourism Enhancement Fund is the summer internship program a part of? Yes, we're clicking away, clicking. What division of the Tourism Enhancement Fund is the summer internship program a part of? Abigail Brown, 776, thank you very much. The Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, JCTI. And I think I am moving to my final question for this segment. And our final question is, this one is, so I know that my team that is working will determine the winner. So I need you to tell me, what did Naomi speak about? If you can give me at least 3 aspects of what she spoke about, then you will be the winner. So at least 3 pointers that stood out for you in terms of what Naomi spoke about. And just to give us an idea, very soon we're going to be moving into the final presenter for this webinar. So very soon we're going to be hearing, and I know that we're anxiously awaiting this presentation because we all want to know about financial literacy. Excuse me. So who is the winner? One King Dan. So one Kingdom. One Kingdom. One Kingdom is the person that answered the question first in terms of telling us about what Naomi spoke on. Thank you very much, ladies and gents. So remember that as part of our summer internship program, that the Tourism Enhancement Fund, our interns will be compensated. And we are a responsible organization, so we want to ensure that just similar to how the Tourism Enhancement Fund ensure that your tourism dollars is working for you, we want to also ensure that the stipends that you receive, that you make it work for you as well. And so in order to do that, we want to ensure that we also give you some updates or some information on financial literacy. And of course, we will have Kalila Reynolds speaking to you about that. So Kalila Reynolds is the CEO and founder of Money Media Limited. Money Media creates financial news and education that's easy to understand. You know, it has to be as easy as counting your chiching. So its mission is to help Caribbean people create and maintain personal wealth and prosperous economies. Kalila is the creator and executive producer of Jamaica's most influential business talk show, Taking Stock, with over 7 million views on YouTube. Meanwhile, her Money Mission online community with over 3,000 members is the place for money makers to meet and share ideas and resources. In 2023, Kalila was honored with the Flair Distinguished Award for Business and nominated for the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce Entrepreneur Award and the JCC Yellow Marketing Excellence Award. Kalila is also a digital marketing strategist, TEDx and international speaker, and published author of 2 books. At home, she's a mom of 3 beautiful children. And here Kalila showing off the wife of the world's best husband. I just want my husband to know that I'm reading Kalila's bio, right? Because mine would have said the same thing. So, Kalila, we are looking forward to your presentation. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. And it is so great to be here to talk to you young people about wealth, about financial literacy, essentially about money. Now, I'm not sure what type of interaction we're able to do today, but wherever you are, I want to see you do this. Give it a little signal. Let's get this money. Let's get this money. Who wants money? Raise your hand. I don't know if you can go in the chat or if you are able to say it to each other wherever you are, but let me know, do you want to get more money? I think that is a goal that most people have. So let me start by giving you a little background about myself, who I am and where I come from. This cute, adorable little baby is me, and those 2 beautiful people are my parents. That's my mom and my dad, and I was raised with one younger brother, who wasn't born yet at the time of this picture. But they instilled certain values in me because my mom was a career educator. When she retired, she was principal of her school. My dad was a career public servant before he started his own small business. And so they instilled in me the values of people of those classes, of the working classes. So they worked hard all their lives, and they taught me that I needed to work hard and save in order to be successful in life. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Are these the values that your parents have instilled in you. Work hard and save. Work hard and save. Study your book. That was my dad's favorite phrase when I was a child. Everything for him. If I said, Dad, can I go to a party? No, study your book. Dad, can I study your book? Everything was study your book because the objective was to study hard in school and then graduate, go to college, graduate, get a good job, work hard at that job. After you work hard at that job, you're going to earn some money. And once you earn that money, you need to save that money and then you need to buy a house. And that is the formula for success, which I saw work for my parents, both of them being university graduates. And so that is the formula that I applied to my life. Work hard and save. So study, work hard, save your money, buy a house. And I did all of those things diligently because I thought this was the formula for success and for financial prosperity, right? And so I went to Fordham University in the United States. I got my degree in communications and media studies with a concentration in journalism. And I went back home to Belize, which is where I'm originally from. I've been living in Jamaica now for 17 years. But at the time, I grew up in Belize. So I went back to Belize. I got a job in my field that I studied, journalism, and I thoroughly enjoyed my job. I did exceptionally well, won all kinds of awards, and then I moved to Jamaica in 2010, where you may know me, those of you who are old enough to remember, from this clip.
A woman was just shot right next to where I'm standing. This is the scene here on Spanish Town Road and between Nashville Avenue and Waltham Park. The shot came literally out of nowhere just moments ago. There were scores of people littering the street. Once again, another barrage of heavy gunfire in the area coming under attack.
So, call me Bad Gal Kalila. That was me during the Tivoli incursion in 2010, covering it for CVM TV. And I play that clip just because it's my most badass moment ever in my career. And I like to play that everything because people always say, oh, are you that? You were the one who was reporting during, in the middle of gunshots down at Tivoli. Yes, me and Kalila who dodged bullet down at Tivoli Gardens when they were looking for Christopher Dudus Coke. And that's just one of my many career highlights. I also won multiple awards as a journalist, including the award for investigative journalism. I've won awards for opinion journalism. I've won awards for business and finance journalism, which I later came to specialize in, several of them. But eventually I realized that this formula of work hard plus save does not necessarily equals the house and the success that I thought it did, because I was working very hard. You see me dodging bullets down at Tivoli, winning these awards. I was doing the things that I was told to do. I got the quote unquote good job, at least the job that made me fulfilled, and worked, and I got promotions after promotions, won the awards, and I tried my best to save as much as I could, which was difficult because I was a single mom at the time as well. But for some reason, these things weren't equaling the house. So what is going on with the formula? Why isn't one thing leading to the other, which is what I was led to believe and expect should be the case? And it came to a point where I got to my mid-30s and I'd accomplished all these things, but I felt like a professional success, but a financial failure. So I have the awards to my name. People know my face, they know my voice, but the money isn't there. I was what you call poor and famous. The money wasn't following the accolades for some reason. And I'm there in a quandary wondering why this is. What am I doing wrong? Because I thought I was doing the right things. I studied hard. I tried to save my money as best as I could. I worked very, very hard. And I became a professional success, but a financial failure. And then I realized a few things. So I was there comparing myself to what my parents experienced, right? My parents, I was raised in the 1990s. I'm sure I sound ancient to you guys. But my parents came of age 80s, 90s when they were raising their children. We're now in the 2020s. And for me, when I was having this epiphany was in the 2010s. And the economy has changed a lot. Even in Belize and Jamaica, we have very similar trajectories. The economy has changed a lot. So if you're comparing yourselves to what your parents achieved at a similar age or your grandparents achieved at a similar age, you have to realize that things are not now what they used to be. And for you young people now who are entering the job market for the first time, or you're early in your careers, you have to realize 2020s are a lot different from even the early 2000s when you were growing up. So one thing that has changed a lot is marriage. A lot of people aren't getting married at all, or they're delaying marriage. So I was there comparing myself to my parents' success when I was a single parent, but they were married. My mom got married at 19. My grandmother got married at 17. I got married at 32. And a lot of my friends who are in our 40s now still aren't married. And so they had a lot more time to combine resources with a spouse. And that's time that we who get married later or choose not to get married at all don't have, especially for women, because women we see have been delaying marriage, delaying having children, or avoiding it completely for several reasons. One, many of us just not settling for any man, not settling for any ring, just to call yourself wife. There's that. Two, a lot of us are pursuing professional careers a lot earlier. My grandmother was a housewife her entire life. My mom started work young, yes, but she still was very, very active in the home. And to some extent, I am too. I call her Superwoman. I'm not as active as she was in the home. But a lot of women in particular are delaying this in pursuit of finding fulfillment through our education and our careers. My grandmother didn't go beyond primary school. My mother initially finished only high school, and then later in life, she got her degree. I went as far as getting a master's degree. And so marriage is one thing that we have a disadvantage of as a generation because we're not getting married as young. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad because I think it is a good thing that we are prioritizing education and careers. But financially, it does put us at a disadvantage compared to our parents because we don't get to pool those resources. So that's one thing that has changed. Another thing that has changed is pensions. When in pension, in my parents' time, you're almost guaranteed to receive a pension. You work 20, 30 years for the same company, and when you retire, you get a pension. In today's economy, very few places actually offer a pension. And that's something that I want you as young people to really think about. A lot of you at this age aren't thinking about pensions because it just seems so far into the future. But think about it. You work for 30 years, 40 years, and at the end of it, you want to retire and you can't because how are you going to sustain yourself? How are you going to live when you reach 65 and 70 and 75 and 80? And you realize that you can't stop working. You have to work because you have no pension to get. Very few companies today offer a pension. That used to be a given. Now, government and a few large private sector companies are the only ones that offer pension. I am 42 years old. I have never worked for a company that offers a pension. So I have no pension to get other than what I invest and save for myself unless I'm doing a private pension. And then the third thing that has changed substantially is wages. And you guys, you're young, you might not even realize this, but you're comparing yourself to people who bought homes in their 20s, right? For me, it's me comparing myself to my parents who became homeowners in their 20s. And what I didn't realize is that at the time, the wage to mortgage ratio was a lot smaller, a lot narrower than it is today. So if you are earning a certain amount, let's say your mortgage was, all right, let's say you're earning 20,000 Jamaican dollars a month. It's back in the 90s or wherever, right? Early 2000s, right? And your mortgage payment might be, let's say, 5,000 a month, which is 25% of your salary. When you look at that today, the wages have increased barely, but the mortgage payment has gone from here all the way off the screen. When you look at the type of house that you may want to live in, the type of house that is desirable, that be ideal for you to raise a family in 2025, the percentage of your salary that's required to pay that mortgage is far higher than it was back when our parents were coming of age. And so the wage has gone from here to here, oops, but the house price has gone from here all the way up here. And so that's made it extremely, a lot more difficult for our generation and your generation to buy a house than it was for our parents. So I want to ask you to think about a few things, to think about this question in particular. What does it take to be comfortable in 2025? What would it take for you to be comfortable? And the reason I ask this question, of people say, and a lot of you might be saying it or thinking it, you might be thinking, well, I don't necessarily want to be wealthy. I don't need to be wealthy. That's greedy. Being wealthy is greedy, right? The how does the Bible verse go? The love of money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. And we're raised with that mentality, with that mindset. And we're raised to hate people who are wealthy, to look at them sideways and say, why do you need all of that money? That's not necessary. I just want to be comfortable. I don't need to be wealthy. I just want to be comfortable. Well, what does it take for you to be comfortable? Think about that. What would it take for you to be truly comfortable? Let's make a list. Let's list them out. So number one, at the top of the list, you need shelter and security, right? You need shelter and security. So you need somewhere safe to live, top of the hierarchy of needs. And so you're probably thinking about, okay, if you live in Kingston, you want to live in perhaps a gated community, because this is still Kingston, this is still Jamaica. We still have to worry about crime. We still have to worry about being safe. So you want somewhere with good security, preferably a gated community. And let's say you're looking at a 3-bedroom townhouse in a gated community in Upper St. Andrew. How much is that going to cost? If it's Kingston, Upper St. Andrew, you're looking at minimum $60 million. And what is the mortgage on that $60 million townhouse? Just a townhouse. We're not even talking about a mansion in Beverly Hills. 3-bedroom townhouse in a gated community in Kingston 6 or Kingston 8, right? Not talking about anything lavish, because we just want to be comfortable, right? So shelter and security, that's already $500,000. It's already $500,000. The next thing on our list is reliable transportation. We want to be comfortable. We don't want to take the bus. We don't want to take route taxi. That's also a security concern in today's day and age. So we need a decent car. And I'm not talking about a Porsche Cayenne or a X6. Just a reliable, could be a 3-year-old SUV. You don't have to buy it new. Your car payment is going to be minimum $60,000. 60 to 75,000. Let's go on the conservative end and say 60,000. That's 560,000 already, just on your house and your car. Food. Y'all know food is expensive. Food is insanely expensive. It's just gotten ridiculous what the food prices are. How much do you think it costs to feed a family of 4 per week? Any ideas? How much does it cost to feed a family of 4 each week? I can tell you what my grocery bill is. It's minimum $40,000 a week. Well, it's 5 of us. But 40 is on the low end, to be honest. It's usually closer to 50. So let's say 40 times 4 weeks. Some months have 5 weeks, but let's say 4 weeks. $160,000 just on food alone. Because we want to have 3 meals, and it's not struggle meals. I'm not saying you can't eat for less. Obviously you can, but we're not struggling. We're comfortable. So we're having 3 healthy meals a day, including fruits and vegetables, which are expensive. So it's not just chicken back and, well, bully beef expensive now too. But 160,000 plus our shelter and security, which was 500, so we're at 660, plus our transportation, which was 60,000, so we're at 720. Healthcare, so we have to have our insurance. How much is that gonna cost you for a family of 4? Probably about 15,000, and that's health insurance alone. Education, if you're raising kids and you want to send them to prep school, you want to give them a good quality education, right? You know how much prep school costs? I wonder if you guys have any idea because you're young. Prep school right now in Kingston and St. Andrew area, minimum 100,000 per term. Minimum 100,000 per term. The better schools, you're looking at 150 to 200,000 per term per child. So if you have 2 children, it's 200,000 per term. Term is typically about 3 months. So break it down like 75,000 a month to your bill. So now we're at how much? 6, call it 700,000. You want your safety net. You also want to have fun. We haven't even had fun in this budget yet. We don't even have KFC money in this budget yet. When I said food, I was only talking about groceries. I wasn't talking about eating out on the road and giving the kids lunch money for school. I wasn't talking about your car insurance. We did mention health insurance, but home insurance, that's expensive. And we haven't talked about giving yet, because if you are able to afford all of the things that I've listed here and a 700,000-800,000 monthly bill, then you are in the top, definitely 5% of people earning in Jamaica. Because think about what you're making right now as interns is nowhere near what I just outlined, I'm sure. So if you are earning $800,000 to $1 million a month in Jamaica, you are in the top at least 5% of Jamaicans, which makes you wealthy by other people's standards compared to the vast majority of Jamaicans. And if you're making $1 million a month, people are going to think you're rich, you're boss, you're wealthy. And so your family members are going to expect a lot of you. If you're making $1 million a month, guaranteed your mom wants you to help your cousin pay her school fee. You have to help out this one. You have to help out that one. All your family is going to come to you with hands out. And you want to be in a position to help them. There's nothing wrong with helping your family. That's something that we should all aspire to be in a position to help other people, especially people who we love. To be in a position, you want to give tithes to your church. That's 10%. We haven't even factored that in yet. So looking at all the list of things, what does it take to be comfortable in Jamaica? It really requires you to be wealthy compared to the vast majority of people in this country. You're looking at a cool $1 million. And if $1 million is wealthy by Jamaican standards, then you need to be wealthy to be comfortable. And so you need to reframe that in your mind, that being comfortable isn't just about scraping by on the bare minimum, but being comfortable is about having safety and security for your family, healthy meals for your family, giving your children a quality education, and being able to help people that you love and people that you simply care about, and also having financial security so that if something goes wrong, such as a medical bill, happens to your car, hurricane hits, you're in a position to recover financially fairly quickly. You don't have to worry or stress about that. So you need to be wealthy to be comfortable. So let's come back to our equation. Work hard plus save equals house and money. Our keys to success, what we were cultured to believe. All you have to do is work hard and save, and you'll be successful. But the truth is that you can never work your way to wealth. That's a big lie. They told us all we have to do is work hard and we'll be wealthy, we'll be successful, we'll be fine. But how many people do you know who work hard their entire lives and still broke? How many people do you know who have more than one job, 2 and 3 jobs, the most hardworking people you can think of, and they're still poor? They're not even remotely wealthy. And the reason for that is that time is a finite resource. Time is a limited resource. As long as you continue to exchange your time for money, your money depends on the number of hours that you work. But the number of hours that you are able to work is limited because there are only 24 hours in a day. So you can't work more than 24 hours in a day. And you need to sleep in that time. So you can't work in, let's say, more than 16, max 20 hours a day. Time is a finite resource. It's a limited resource. And if you're continuously exchanging your time for money, you're at a disadvantage. And then let's look at some people who lost all their money, who accumulated a lot of money during the time that they were exchanging their time for money. And then the minute that they stopped earning, they lost it all. You have people as famous as Michael Jackson, Nicole Kidman, Mike Tyson. Some of you guys might be too young to even know like the real legacy that Mike Tyson had. Michael Jackson was reportedly at least $400 million in debt when he died in 2009. Imagine that, the biggest pop star in the entire world died millions of dollars in debt. Somebody whose earning potential was up here, who I'm sure earned millions of dollars throughout his lifetime, his catalog alone. But the minute that he was no longer able to bring in the same type of income that he did when he was at the height of his fame, he went into debt because his expenses were extremely high. He had the whole Neverland Ranch. Then you have somebody like Nicolas Cage, who also a very famous Hollywood actor. In 1 year alone, 2009, he earned $40 million, also in extreme debt. And you'd think, how can somebody earn $40 million and end up in debt and just end up with nothing at all? You look at Mike Tyson, earned $400 million over his career. That's almost $500 million. That is a whole heap of money. But ended up in extreme debt. Mike Tyson owned tigers. You know how expensive it is to feed a tiger? It's a lot. It's a lot of food that a tiger eats. If you think teenagers are expensive, try feeding multiple tigers every day. It's a lot of money. MC Hammer, you can't touch this. I don't know if you guys know him. He was very famous in the 90s. Very famous song, Can't Touch This. Filed for bankruptcy. Because the minute that they stop earning at the peak of their potential, they no longer have the income coming in to support the lifestyle. And what they should have done, which is what other successful people have done, is take that money that they earn and invest it so that that money can start earning for them over time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. So the point is, if all you do is exchange your time for money, then the minute you stop selling your time, you stop earning money. That is a problem. So coming back to the formula once again, work hard plus save equals house and success. Work hard plus save equals house and success. This has been indoctrinated into us. We already see that the first half of the equation doesn't work. Work hard. Work hard does not equal house and success or wealth. The second half of the equation also doesn't work because you can never save your way to wealth either. You can never save your way to wealth. Think about it. Think about all the people you know who are extremely frugal. My dad is one of them. Cheap. Think about all the people you know who are just penny pinching. They're always trying to save $1 every here and there. My dad was one of those people who you can't flush the toilet for number one. You're only supposed to flush the toilet for number two because you don't want to raise up the water bill. Always going around the house turning off all the lights. If you ask him for $1, he might give you 5 cents. Extremely frugal, cheapskate would call him. You can never save your way to wealth because when you think about those people who are the most frugal, the people you know in your life like that, are they wealthy? Probably not. Most of them are still poor, they're still broke. And I'll give you a perfect example. So I know of this cricketer. His wife was one of my clients, a famous West Indian cricketer. And she told me about this savings plan that they started for their child at birth with the intention of sending the child to college in the United States when they came of age. And so they started this savings plan, this college savings plan, when the child was born. How much money do you think they saved over those 18 years? I wish we had the ability to participate and I could hear some of your answers. So they saved 40,000 EC dollars, Eastern Caribbean dollars. How much money is that? That's about 15,000 USD, about 2.3 million JMD. Now, for those of you who go to UE or UTech or one of the universities, how much can that pay? How many semesters? It maybe can cover a year or two at UE, depending on what you're studying. This person's intention was to send their child to university in the United States. I can tell you, my school, Fordham, I got a full scholarship to Fordham, so I didn't have to pay. But my first semester, they made a mistake. They hadn't processed my scholarship, and they sent me the bill in the mail. This was in 2003. And my bill for one semester at Fordham was 25,000 US dollars. So they would have saved up for 18 years and still can't afford one semester, just tuition, not even counting room and board, not even counting food or books or travel, airfare to the States, none of that. For 18 years they saved, and they still would not have been able to afford a single semester at the school that I attended. And that's not even an Ivy League school. So we're not even talking Harvard or Princeton, right? Saving alone does not get you there. Now, here's the thing about savings, because they tell us, put your money in savings. Save your money, put it in a savings account. But the average interest rate on a savings account in Jamaica is less than 1%. So you're looking at 0.3%, 0.2%, not even 0.5%. So you're not earning anything substantial on your savings. All you're doing is adding. You add. So this month you save $1,000. Next month you save another 1,000. That's 2,000. Then you save a couple more thousand. And you're just adding. And then you're trying to earn interest, but the interest is so small that the fees are more than the interest. Because you know how the fees go at the banks, right? Every time you take out your money, use the ATM, they charge you. Every time you swipe at a point of sale or tap at a point of sale, they charge you. Every time you try to use a check, people don't use checks anymore, they charge you. If you go to the bank, to the teller, they charge you. And even if you put money there and you don't use your money, your account for an extended period of time, for a few months, they charge you dormant account fee. So even if you do nothing, they still charge you. Yet you're earning this minuscule interest. So the fees add up to more than the interest that you earn in most instances. Meanwhile, let me tell you about this thing called inflation. What is inflation? It's simply a rise in the cost of living each year. So currently, Jamaica has about 5% inflation. What does that mean? You guys know this item, patty. How much a patty costs now? Patty costs like $3.50. You can't even get a patty of cocoa bread and a soda or a juice for $500 anymore. That's running you like $600. How much did that patty used to cost when you were a child? That's inflation. That difference is inflation. So let's say, for argument's sake, that a patty costs 100 Jamaican dollars. Argument's sake. Let's say today or last year it cost 100 Jamaican dollars. 5% inflation means that this year that same patty would cost $105, 105 Jamaican dollars. That's 5% inflation. So here's what happens when you save. So you saved $100, right? And you feel like you're doing something great. Yay, I saved $100. I did something wonderful with my money. I saved $100 in the bank. And then you earn some interest. Yay, I earned $1 in interest. Mind you, you're not earning a whole dollar. 1%, you're earning less than 1%. So you're not earning that full dollar. But for argument's sake, let's say you earned $1 interest on your $100 savings and you feel wonderful. Okay, great, we're making some progress. But then factor in inflation, and the item that cost $100 that you were saving towards now costs $105. And you realize, actually, I did not make the progress I thought I did. So I thought I went from 100 to 101, but the item now costs 105, which means that I'm now $4 in the negative. So I'm losing money due to inflation because I'm only saving my money. And that's the big mistake that a lot of people make. They feel like you're doing something amazing by saving, but saving is only the first step. Saving is only the beginning. Addition is not enough. We have to multiply. So we can't just do 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 5 or 6 or whatever the number is. We have to start multiplying those numbers. So not just 2 plus 2, 2 times 2. And then once we get 4, 4 times another 2, 8. It can't just be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. We have to multiply our money. Saving is simply addition. Investing is where we get to multiplication. So, recapping, you can never save your way to wealth, and you can also never work your way to wealth. So what is the answer? Work hard and save doesn't work, doesn't lead to the things that we were led to believe it leads to. It doesn't give you the house and the land and the property and the wealth and the success that we thought it did. So let's look at the true wealth equation, the reframed wealth equation, the equation that the wealthy people already know. For us in the working classes, we didn't grow up with this knowledge. We're accumulating this knowledge now. So number one in the wealth equation is real estate, owning property. And this has been known from time was time, from all the way back in biblical times and before. Even if you go to the most remote villages in Africa and Asia, land ownership, property ownership is always seen as a value of wealth, how much property you own. So real estate is the first key to wealth. It is one of the keys to wealth. It's one of the ways in which we measure wealth. Now, what is the problem with real estate? I started out by looking at the cost of real estate, which is the challenge that we have to begin with. Most of us can't afford real estate. especially at a young age when we're just starting out in life. So if you basically need to be wealthy to buy real estate, how can you then turn around and tell me that that real estate leads to wealth if I need wealth to get real estate? That's not helping me acquire wealth. It's not helping me at all. That's the problem. So real estate is going to take a lot of your money, or at least access to money. The second key to wealth is entrepreneurship, which seems like a no-brainer because think about all the wealthiest people in the world who come to mind. Who are the wealthiest people you can think of? You're probably thinking of people like Jeff Bezos, who founded Amazon, entrepreneur. Elon Musk, who founded Tesla and SpaceX, one of the founders of PayPal years ago, and multiple other businesses. The richest man in the world, entrepreneur. You're probably thinking of people like, who else? So Bezos, we have Elon, Bill Gates, Microsoft, one of the richest men in the world, entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship, of the three keys to wealth, is easily the most lucrative key, but it's also the hardest by far. And the vast majority of new businesses fail within the first 5 years, probably less within the first couple of years. It's extremely hard. It's extremely risky. Yes, it is the most lucrative, but it's also the most time consuming because you can dedicate years into a business before you ever see a substantial return, if ever. Even for somebody like Jeff Bezos at Amazon, Amazon turned a loss for many years before it finally became profitable. And they were able to do that because they had strong investor backing. Most of us who are starting small businesses from scratch, bootstrapping that business, we don't have that luxury. So it's going to take a whole lot of your time. It's going to take all your time trying to build this venture into something successful and hoping against all odds that it actually takes off. So real estate will take all of your money. Entrepreneurship will take all of your time. So what is the solution? That brings me to key number 3, which is stock market investing. Stock market investing does not necessarily take all of your money, nor would it necessarily take all of your time unless you want to spend all day looking at charts and staring at the stock market, unless you want to put all of your money into it. But the vast majority of stocks, like on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, are less than 100 Jamaican dollars. So far less than a patty. A patty and cocoa bread and juice can get you multiple stocks for the cost of that. I want to say inexpensive meal, but it's not inexpensive anymore. So the vast majority of stocks on Jamaica Stock Exchange cost less than 100 Jamaican dollars, which means that stock market investing is the most accessible way to wealth creation because it doesn't take all your time and it doesn't take all of your money. Stock market investing is the most accessible key to wealth creation, and that's why I strongly encourage everybody to start there. So what do these 3 keys have in common? We spoke about real estate, we spoke about entrepreneurship, we spoke about stock market investing. What do they all have in common? Ownership. The true key to wealth is ownership. We need to start owning assets that appreciate in value, that rise in value over time. We need to own things. Ownership is the multiplier effect. So our true formula is work hard plus save times ownership equals our house and our land and our success and all the things that we desire. Because you still have to work hard in order to earn the income that you are then going to save. And then once you save some money, now you're going to invest it. You can't just jump straight to investing with nothing to invest. You have to have the money from somewhere. So take that income from the hard work that you're doing, save some of it, and then use it to buy things. Use it to buy assets, not just anything. Use that money to buy assets. Use that money to own things, to own property, to own stocks, to own businesses. That is where you get wealthy. That is the true wealth equation. So let me tell you a little bit about my first investment, right? So I have been, you heard in the introduction that I am a financial journalist. I have a company called Money Media. I was a journalist for many, many years. I told you I won all kinds of awards for journalism, opinion, investigative. You saw me reporting on Tivoli Gardens. And at some point in time, I started focusing on business and finance journalism. And it became even more important to Jamaica because of what we were going through at the time with being under an IMF program. We had high debt, and then things were starting to turn around. Our debt to GDP is now the lowest it's been in 30 years. And a lot of people were putting money in the stock exchange. Around 2015 and 2018, Jamaica had the best performing stock exchange in the world. 2 years, two times, 2015 and 2018. So people were getting extraordinary returns. They were flipping their investments super quick. So you're buying an IPO at $1, and by next week it's $2, and then by the next week it's $3, and within a few months it reached $10. 10xing your investment in a few months, and it just seemed like, okay, how do I do this? I need to get in on this. And so I heard IPO, and I'm like, I'm in. So late 2017 is when I decided I was going to start. There was the Wisynco IPO. You guys know Wisynco, a huge manufacturing and distribution company. They manufacture Coca-Cola, water, lots of very well-known products. And I said, I'm going to be in. I'm going to buy the Wisynco IPO. It was December 2017. So guess what happened? Any ideas? I procrastinated. I did not open my investment account in time, and I missed the opportunity to participate in the Wisynco IPO. And within a few weeks, it did what all the other IPOs did, and the price just shoot up quick. And I kicked myself. I missed the opportunity, and I said, you know what? Let me go open my investment account now so that the next time there's an IPO, I am ready. I have money in the account open already. I'm not going to miss it. Next IPO, nah, miss me. And the next IPO was Stanley Motor in March of 2018. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that company, Stanley Motor. They own a series of, they're basically a real estate company, and they rent real estate space primarily to BPOs. So 58 Halfway Tree is one of their spaces. They rent to like Alorica and several BPOs. I did not know this at the time. I had no idea who Stanley Motor was. I had no idea what they did. I did zero research. I just hear IPO, I'm in. Me that. Because what happened with the Wisynco is not going to happen to me again. And I bought $5.42 per share. I still remember it extremely well because it was my very first investment. I was so excited about it. 2018, March. Guess how much Stanley Motor is worth today? Just about $5.42. So the IPO flop, it never really gone nowhere. And after a few months, I was so disappointed. I'm like, why didn't this IPO pop the way the other IPOs popped? And I realized it's because I didn't do any research. I had zero interest in what the company actually did. I was just trying to make a quick money. And so that was the point when I decided, you know what, I need to start understanding the stock market thing. What makes a company's price rise? What makes a stock price fall? What makes one IPO do well and another IPO not do well? And that was the point at which I started seriously trying to educate myself. So I share this knowledge with you today. What are stocks? For those of you who are starting at the very, very basic level, don't be ashamed to ask. Never be ashamed to ask questions. What are stocks? Stocks are simply your share of ownership in a company, your portion of a company. So when a company goes public, so to speak. They are selling their shares to the public. They're selling ownership stake in the company. And how do you make money from the stock market? You make money in two ways. One is called capital appreciation, also called capital gains. So when the price of the stock goes up, the difference is your profit. So let's say you buy a stock for $1 per share. The stock price rises to $2.50 per share. Your profit is $1.50. That's capital appreciation or capital gains. The second way you make money from stock market investing is through dividends. Dividends are your share of the company's profits. So if a company makes a profit of $10 million, they may decide that they're going to share that up amongst their shareholders who are the owners of the company. As a shareholder, you become an owner, and you're entitled to a portion of those profits. That is called your dividends. And you get a check in the mail, or they can send it straight to your bank account. And that's the second way that you make money through stock market investing. You may hear the term IPO all the time. IPO stands for Initial Public Offer. Initial is the first time. Public is the opposite of private. An offer is when ownership is made available to you. So the first time a company makes its shares available to the public for sale, that is called an IPO. Before a company does an IPO, it is a privately owned company. My company, Money Media, is a privately owned company. If you want to own shares in Money Media, you have to know me personally, approach me and ask me if you can invest in my company. If you can become a shareholder, and maybe we can reach a deal, but that's going to be a private deal. That's between me and you. When a company does an IPO and goes public, now any member of the public can own shares in that company at any time simply by going through their investment account, logging on to jtraderpro.com or whatever trading platform that you're using, and just doing it publicly. It's publicly available for anybody to own. That's what an IPO is. Now, how do you know what to invest in? This is the question of the hour, a question I get asked all the time. All you have to do is remember this simple little acronym, GILF. GILF, what does that stand for? It rhymes with something kind of naughty, but that's not what it means. So GILF stands for Goals and Risk Tolerance, Industry and Economic Trends, Leadership, and Financial Performance. So the first thing you want to know is personal to you. What are your goals and risk tolerance? Because people ask me all the time, Kalila, what should I invest in? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to invest in. First of all, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Secondly, I don't know anything about you. I don't know how much risk you're comfortable taking. I don't know how soon you need back the money. I don't know what you're investing for. Are you investing for a summer vacation? Or are you investing for retirement? Or are you investing to buy a house in 5 years? Or are you investing to buy a car in 2 years? Those goals and timelines are extremely different. And how comfortable are you with risk? Because I may be a risk taker. I might be willing to risk it all while you're very conservative. So you first need to get comfortable with your own goals and risk tolerance. Know what that is. That's the G in GILF. The I stands for industry and economic trends. What is the industry that this business is in? Manufacturing and distribution, is that doing well right now? If you're looking to invest in Wistinko, for example, is manufacturing and distribution doing well in Jamaica right now? What are the economic trends? What is Datin and PIOJ saying about this particular industry? Is this industry growing? Are more people buying this type of product? All you have to do as a first step is just be aware of what is going on in the economy. Look around. What are the things that are popping? What are the industries that are popping? AI? Is that what everybody's into right now? What are the companies in that space that you can invest in? When you look at, you see all the construction going on, start thinking, okay, I see a lot of construction going on. Who are the companies that are poised to benefit during a construction boom? You think your Carib Cement. You think your Fosrich, which is a lighting and electrical company. You think of, who else? Lumber Depot. Even Grace Kennedy. Grace Kennedy owns hardware and lumber, Rapid True Value. You think of these types of companies. when you make your observations and see what are the products that are doing well, the Jamaican products, who manufactures or distributes those products? When you think of like a Fontana, just open up new location in Portmore. They're now the sole distributor for Fenty Beauty. You see how many people went to that launch for Fenty Beauty in Jamaica. You should start thinking, I should own shares in Fontana, especially if you are a heavy consumer of a company's product. You're always there. Why not become a shareholder? So that every time you spend money with the company, it comes back to you when the company pays dividends. The next thing you want to look at is leadership, the L in GILF. Who are the leaders of this company? Do they have the competence, the experience to lead this company? Are they trustworthy? Because if the leader thief, nothing else matters. Company is doomed to fail if the leader is dishonest, or the leaders are dishonest or don't have the relevant skill set to lead that company. And then finally, you want to look at the company's financial performance, which I go into a lot of detail in my new book, the Money Mission Workbook. Well, it's blurred, so you can't really see it. But yeah, I go through all of these things in the Money Mission Workbook that I really hope that you take the opportunity to try to get a copy of that. Where is my slide? Okay, yeah. So what are your next steps? Your next steps are to educate yourself. There is a QR code on the screen to purchase the Money Mission Workbook. It's available on Amazon now. And you can learn, how to start investing. You can learn what are the things that you need to understand about the economy now. You can create your personal investing profile, and it goes through. Let me take the blur off my thing. Hold on. Let me take the blur off so I can kind of show you what the pages look like. Maximizing my screen. Video. Take off the background blur. All right. So this is the Money Mission Workbook. It has pages to write your stuff. Fund assessment guide. Here you have your company assessment guide. So how do you assess a company? It gives you the structure to do so. It has your goals. You create your personal investing profile. You're going to go through your goals, your timelines, what you want to achieve, when you want to achieve it, your risk management profile, and all that good stuff. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Let me bring the QR code back on the screen for anybody who is interested. Present. All right. So the first thing you want to do is to educate yourself. And you can do it on your own, find YouTube videos to watch. The good thing about the Money Mission Workbook is that we use Jamaican examples and Caribbean examples. So it's designed for people who live in our economies. You're going to find a lot of information out there and wondering, okay, how does this connect to back home? How does this work in Jamaica? That's what the Money Mission Workbook is for. So step 1, educate yourself. Step 2 is to open an investment account. So you heard my story about me missing the Wysinco IPO because I didn't have an investment account. I didn't know that was the first step. I thought, okay, I can just go buy this thing, not realizing I needed to have an investment account. So step 2, open your investment account, put money in there, whatever the minimum is. This QR code on the screen is for JMMB. I'm an affiliate for JMMB, so just full disclosure there, I'm an affiliate for JMMB. But open your investment account. One of the reasons I recommend them is that they are the largest stock brokerage firm in Jamaica by far. And because of that, they usually have like all the IPOs come through, or they become a selling agent for all the IPOs. And also, you can open your account completely online, which they're the only Jamaican brokerage firm that you can open your investment account completely online. Everywhere else you have to go in, or maybe it's an email back and forth, but they have a really streamlined system for you to open an investment account. So step 1, educate yourself. Step 2, open your investment account with whatever money you have. I think the minimum is 20,000 JMD. and be ready, be prepared for those investment opportunities when they come. Now, I want you to also scan this code. This is to give some feedback if you have found this session important so far. Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Scan the QR code on your screen or type in that web address, talk.ac/Kalila Ray. And once you are finished, you are going to get a copy of the Money Dictionary, which is my free tool that just gives you a lot of the investment terms to start with. So I'm going to give you a minute, maybe like 90 seconds, to just scan this QR code real quick and take the survey, and you will get a free download of the Money Dictionary. So let me give you a minute to do that, and then we'll come back and wrap up. Am I still on? Oh, yes, I am. Okay, good. Set a timer. Okay, and since you are virtual, I think we can just wrap it up.
All right. So thank you, Kalila. Now that I know that you're also from Belize. Okay. So we want to say a big thank you to Kalila. And Kalila, now we know that you are unbelievable. Thank you very much. Stuff that stood out, the traditional formula. Yeah, I can relate. Study, work hard, save money, buy house. And we appreciate the fact that with the wealth equation, we learned the fact that addition is not enough. We have to multiply. So that will be my new favorite way of doing math. Multiplying and not adding. So we know about the whole now aspect of wealth equation. Real estate, that will take up our money. Plus entrepreneurship, which will take up our time. So we now need to do the stock market investing, which is most accessible key to wealth creation. And of course, we know that leads to ownership, which is the true key to wealth. So thank you so very much. And I think I need to add that our listeners online were really having a ball during your presentation. So we thank you very much. So ladies and gents, thank you. I turn over now to Carol Rose Brown, who will do our closing remarks.
Well, we are at good afternoon. And I just want to say that I have the enviable task of thanking all of you for joining us today. We're really delighted that you're able to join us. We at the Tourism Enhancement Fund, we thank all 12,000 plus of you who signed up on our website to participate in the summer internship program. I also want to thank our Minister the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, who is at work abroad and who made himself available to participate with us today. I want to thank Naomi Garrick, Tobia James, and of course, Kalila Reynolds. We learned an enormous amount of stuff today. We learned when you're doing your resume, make sure you do the research. Make sure your cover letter is precise, spelling errors checked, etc. We learned that when it comes to your personal branding, you need to be clear that what's in the social media about you is positive. And of course, we learned from Kalila that in finances, your goal is multiplication, not addition. The goal of this morning's event was to help all students who signed up, to help them navigate this step period in their lives when they are at the beginning of their career development. This is important to us in tourism because tourism is the biggest business on the planet. It is how our region earns a living. We want to ensure that all of you know about the jobs available in tourism and consider preparing yourself to join us in tourism. So today, we're happy that you joined us. We hope you learned something about how to enhance your development, how to prepare your resume, and how to develop your brand. And finally, how to manage the money you're going to earn this summer. The minister reminded us at the start of this that this is the first step on the journey. The first step, not the journey, the first step. We also want to just remind you that all of us need help because none of us knows everything we need to know. I hope all of you took notes and plan to review them. I saw in the chat that some of you were saying that you really would want to know if there are many more projects like this. And with that kind of feedback, we certainly are interested in thinking about more like this. But for today, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for sticking with us. And thank you all for staying engaged for the entire workshop. Thank you all very much for having joined us today.